All right, let's talk about a day in the life of a real estate agent. Let's get this right, because using time well is one of the biggest struggles when I teach agents that they tell me they have time management, getting themselves disciplined, doing the things that they need to do to. So understand this, every day in real estate is a test of discipline, not just hustle. There's so many agents I know, they work so hard, they're running around, they're in their car, they're flying here, there, and everything, try to keep themselves busy. And I don't know if it's a love of chaos that does this to them, or it relieves them of the guilt that one feels when one's not working hard. Like you feel like if I'm working hard, even though I'm not working effectively and efficiently, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Like I can't feel bad about myself because I'm working so hard. They love to, I'm working so hard. But we look at what they're doing and they're not being disciplined in doing the things they need to, and they're not being disciplined with their time. And so they're bleeding their time, they're hemorrhaging their time away. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that today as we think about things. I want to talk to you about this idea in general of setting your day and your time up. So one of the big conversations we have in real estate is about this idea of time blocking. And sizing time blocking to you is an important idea that they don't usually talk about with time blocking. So time blocking in general says, hey, look, from 8 to 9, I'm gonna do this, and then from 9 to 11, I'm gonna do this, and from 11 to 1, it sets time up to help you schedule yourself to make sure that you're doing everything that you've committed to yourself to do. There are some agents that use that and use that very effectively, but more agents than not, I found, have been let down by time blocking because they say to me, yeah, Josh, it's great. I blocked my time and then I got this phone call and I had to spend half the day out showing properties unexpectedly because somebody's schedule changed. And now I'm come back, I can't get done everything I laid out for myself, and I come home at the end of the day after working hard feeling like a loser because I didn't do everything that I set out to do. So I'm going to give you a modification on time blocking that I found to be very, very effective. So in general, this is how we're going to set the macro day up, and then we're going to talk about the things within that we have to address. I like the time block on a weekly basis. And what I mean by that is I will take my yearly goals for how many closings I want, buyers, sellers, and everything, and I'll get my head wrapped around what the tasks are. So how many calls, how many door knocks, how many whatever I need to do to get that number of closings, that number of buyers, that number of sellers, right? I'll break that down all the way to what I need to do each week to get that done. But I won't break it down and make it the goal to get done 1/5 or 6th, depending on how many days it was, 7th, however many days a week you work. I'm not gonna break that down to what I need to do daily. And the reason why is I want to leave flexibility within my schedule for when my schedule gets to be chaotic. Now, in order to do this method that I'm going to teach you, there's a couple of things that you're going to have to commit to. I'll give them to you as notes to write down because I think they're worthwhile. What I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to work 5 days a week, and I, in my head, say I have to make 500 phone calls this week. Let's say that's the number. This is just arbitrary, but let's say that's the goal. I'm not going to tell myself you must make 100 phone calls a day. I'm going to tell myself you got to get 500 phone calls done by the end of the week. And so I know in my head that means I got to make at least 100 a day or I'm falling behind. I mean, like, I don't need an abacus to take and tell me what that number is. But I don't tell myself if you don't get 100 done, you're dead, you screwed up, you messed up, your week is shot. Here's the notes that I'm going to ask you to write down. Please play like you're behind. So I'm going to start on Monday. Let's say Monday is the day I'm going to start working on these 500 phone calls. I'm going to tell myself, all right, look, I don't know how this week is going to go. I got some time right now. Let me not bang out 100 calls. Let me bang out like 150 calls if I can. Let me see how many I can get done. So I do 150 calls on Monday because I don't want to get I'm already behind. I'm worried about falling behind. So let me play like I'm behind. So I'm going to take and get ahead first. First thing I'm going to do, get ahead if I can. Now, if Monday comes up and Monday is chaos and I'm only able to get 30 calls done, well, I know I got to play catch up the next day, but I'm going to try not only to catch up, I'm going to try to get ahead. So always play to get ahead. And that's from there, always continue as if you're behind. So now Monday is done. I got 150 phone calls in the books, right? Tuesday comes up, I'm like, wait a second. If I can get another 150 calls done today, I only got 200 calls left for the whole rest of the week. Well, Tuesday comes around and I get 170 calls done. I'm setting myself, because if I get that number below 200, 170 seems a lot better than 200, right? I'm in the 100s. Lo and behold, Wednesday comes along, I'm done with all the stuff that I set out to do potentially. Or maybe Wednesday's a bad day and I make it up on Thursday, whatever. But I'm in a position where the likelihood of me finishing the week off and getting everything done that I needed to get done is much higher, because I've laid things out in such a way that allowed me the flexibility to know what I need to get done and get it done, but it allowed for the flexibility of the fact that the workflow in our business can be very differential, right? That leaves me coming home feeling better about the work that I've done. It leaves me feeling like what I've done well. So again, to recap, this is what to write down. Step 1, get ahead. Step 2, always play like you're behind. If you do those 2 things, you block things off on a weekly basis, you're gonna be able to come home feeling good about what you've done, even if you haven't done specifically the amount of what you needed to do today. You can celebrate the things that you did get done, while clearly knowing what you have to get done going forward. One of the things that we need to talk about when it comes to this weekly time blocking is going to be follow-up. Setting yourself up well to follow up consistently. Inconsistent follow-up is useless, all right? You are sabotaging your business by not talking to the people that you already know. And usually agents, this is the thing that blows my mind, usually agents do this in favor of talking to complete strangers that have a high likelihood of not doing anything, rather than talk to people who are happy to talk to them. You talk to a stranger, the odds of them just hanging the phone up on you or slamming the door in your face, much higher. You talk to people you've already done a deal with, usually the conversation is gonna be like, oh, hey, Josh, how you doing? Oh, I'm good, how are you? You have a much better conversation. And you know what comes from those conversations when you do them consistently? You know, my cousin was thinking of coming to the area. They need an agent. You think you could help them? Let me check my schedule. Yes. Or they're looking to do something, or they have a question. One of the best ways I've found to take my residential buyers and turn them into investors is those follow-up conversations. Josh, how's the market? You know, the market right now is rife with there's a lot of opportunities in there. My investors have been doing really well. Really, I've been thinking about investing. I didn't know what I should invest in. Well, maybe we could take a look at it. We can at least take a look at what your situation is. So maybe work out a game plan and figure out how we can get you there. That follow-up is what allows those conversations to happen. And here's the crazy thing. You know how much the follow-up costs? Zero money. Just a little bit of your time to talk to people who already are happy to talk to you. Simple stuff. So we have to earmark the time, and we need a system to put in place. I've talked about this in other videos that I've done on YouTube, but it's a very simple process. 5 steps to perfect follow-up. Step 1, everybody goes in the CRM. Everybody, all right? Actually, step 1 really is have a CRM that you use and that you like, all right? If you have a CRM that's too complicated, you don't use, so step 1, have a CRM. Step 2, everybody goes in the CRM, all right? Everyone. Leads, whatever. They're all in. I don't want to hear, I got some on IG, I got some in my cell phone, I got some written on a block of ice floating in the North Atlantic. Everybody goes in one place in your CRM, all right? Step 3, everybody in your CRM has a dated follow-up task that is due within the next 90 days, minimum. Now, if they want to do something with you or whatever, it's going to be sooner, but no one in your CRM ever has a task that is further than 90 days out. I mean, unless they sit there and say, hey, Josh, I'm going into a doctor-induced coma for the next year. You know what? I'd probably still call that customer and leave a voicemail on their phone and say, hey, hope the medically induced coma is going well. Just wanted you to know I was thinking about you. When you wake back up again, I hope you get this message and it makes you smile. I'd probably have that phone call. Step 4, never leave the office without making your follow-up calls that are due today. So I open up my tasks and I see, oh wow, there's 45 phone calls I gotta make today, 45 people I gotta talk to. I spend some of my time that I've time blocked out to make those calls. Well, Josh, what happens? You just said, what if the day goes to chaos? If I can't get to all those calls today, I will spend a few minutes at the end of my day to reschedule those calls and push them to tomorrow. This is how I make sure that 100% of everybody gets taken care of. 100% of everybody gets followed up with it. If every customer has a follow-up task, there's no way you can ever forget anybody. It takes the pressure of remembering things off your plate, which I don't know about you, that is very liberating as an agent. If I don't have to remember any of this stuff, I can just simply open the computer up. Here's a list. Guys, here's an amazing thing I'm gonna teach you. Who here watching this video would admit, just raise your hand wherever you are. Don't worry if you're just watching this, and raise your hand if you'd agree that you do not have perfect memory. I'll put both hands up on this. You know who does have perfect memory? The computer. Why not, as the CEO of your operation, delegate 100% of memory to the computer? Let the computer remember. You can then just focus on executing. So have your CRM set up so it puts a list in front of you. Here's who I got to call. This is what I got to do today. I get that done. I'm done with follow-up. I'm out the door. Perfect. You've set yourself up to make it simple, easy, and easy to take and monitor whether or not you're being effective. You're allowed to take and give yourself accountability. You've allowed yourself to have easy accountability as to whether or not you're doing what you want yourself to do. You want to make sure you're blocking time for prospecting as well. So when you're newer in the business, guys, what that prospecting could look like could be a whole lot of advertising, door knocking, networking events, all sorts of things. You want to make sure you're earmarking time to do that. It's very easy to get a couple of customers early on and have them suck away all your time. You want to, maybe they close, maybe they don't. But when they do, you're sitting there like, okay, I'm back to starting at scratch again. I don't have anything else in the pipeline. You need to constantly be filling your pipeline, even if you're relatively busy with work you're doing now. That work does come to an end and you need to take and refill it. So making sure that you're earmarking time for the critical part of making sure new business is going to come in, even if you're great at getting customer follow-up and all. Customers usually don't buy a property other than every few years. Maybe 5-7 years is the typical itch cycle on real estate, depending upon where you are. So if I sell them a home, they may not be a customer again for me for several years. I need to take and fill that calendar up with people that are going through that life cycle and are going to be changing homes and buying more properties, so that future me, the person who's going to be in business several years from now, they get the benefit of that. You're taking and you're investing for yourself as you go forward, guys. That's what good real estate business is. If you just focus on the deal in front of you, future you, who by the way happens to be an older version of you, is left holding the bag because once again, the deal is done that you just did and there's nothing in the pipeline. So build the pipeline out by having great follow-up and doing your prospecting to add things into that pipeline on the birth side, the inception side, that you're going to take and now nurture all the way through their first deal and all the other deals that they're going to take and do with you, because you're going to do such a great job with the deal that you have in front of you. Understand though, that market knowledge is not optional. You must be able to talk about the market you're in. It is your edge. Because here's the thing. Let me tell you what your competitors do. The customer goes and asks an agent, hey, I hear you're in real estate. How's the market? And the average agent says, it's great. It's always a great time to buy real estate. Guys, if you say that, the only thing that's going on in their mind is sleazy salesperson looking to get paid. You can't do it. Your market knowledge is the thing that you're going to bring to the table that's going to make your people respect you and want to get more of what you got. You know, I'm so glad you asked about the market. We have some very interesting pressures that are going on. We just had the new labor number come out, which was far under expectations. That new labor number, though, is offset by a consumer confidence number that we saw that was significantly better. Those things are creating a situation where it appears that interest rates may have to ... That conversation your competitors are not ready to have. You want to know why? They're too busy trying to figure out how to be an influencer on TikTok because they think that's how you get to be good at real estate. Guys, let me put a fine point on it. You could fake it or you could be it. Always be the goods. The customer is desperate to find an agent that actually knows what the hell they're talking about. So you could continue to try to act like the agent that knows what they're talking about, or you could do the work to be the agent that does. Use your MLS to take and continuously make you aware of supply and demand, what's going on with buyers and sellers in houses. Be able to have that conversation. I don't know if you know it, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, but last month we saw a definite uptick in demand for housing, or we saw the market slow slightly. Now this is normal for this time of year, but if we compare it year on year, the amount of slowing that we had was slightly more than we had last year, which seems that there's a trend to the market cooling somewhat. This, as a buyer, presents a unique opportunity for you to step into this market. You see how that conversation has itself. if you just have the data, you're paying attention to the right things to talk to your customer about. That market conversation, guys, in my business, nothing was more helpful and made me more successful with customers than being able to have that great market conversation. So you want to read books, you want to read good books. Guys, you don't need another self-help book. I'm going to go out on a limb and say you probably don't need another self-help book. You probably don't even need another business book. What you need are books on how markets work. Understanding markets and how they work is going to give you such a great competitive edge. I wrote a book called Roadmap the American Dream. It's a book on that topic, but I'm going to even recommend one that's not mine. So I don't even have a vested interest in what I'm saying to you right here. Great book, Basic Economics by Thomas Sowell. Understand how economics and markets work. It's going to make the quality of your conversation go up, and that's going to immediately change the way customers react to you. The amount of respect that they're going to give you, it's going to set you up well to make sure that in your day, as you're allocating time, the conversations you're getting, that you're having with these customers, yield you a better return. Because if your conversation is better, the customer's ability to replace you is significantly reduced because the other agents they talk to don't sound like you. Understand this too, if you're reactive all day, you're doing it wrong. You need to own your calendar. You need to own your day, your week, your month, and your year. And you need to be assessing always whether or not the effort that you're putting in are yielding the results you expect. One of the things that happens to agents all the time is they start to expect a certain amount of yield from the work they're putting in, not realizing that the real estate market has changed. Right now, as of the recording of this, we've been in a very long seller's market for an extensive period of time, and the market has cooled. Agents are out there trying to get listings banging out because listings are where it's at. Listings are where it's at. Here's the problem. If you get a listing right now, there aren't that many buyers. So what does that mean? You have a customer that you told them, hey, I'm going to try to sell your house for this. And now you're going back and asking for price reductions. You're asking for better terms to take it off for buyers because you can't find a buyer. Is that customer likely to want to use you again? Who's the customer you could do a really great job for right now? Well, in this market, what you need to be focusing on would be buyers. Because I can go to a buyer right now and say, yeah, you see this house that's listed for $500,000? Let's go make an offer of $475 and ask for points back to take and pay down our rate and maybe to offset your closing costs so you can go replace the kitchen in that house. I could do that for the first time in a long time in a buyer's market, which means I need to take and look at what I'm allocating time to and ask if the market that I'm in is the right market for the behaviors, the choices that I'm making with how I'm bringing business in. If you're looking at that, if you're owning your calendar, you're owning your life, you're owning the activities that are there, you're setting yourself up well to maximize the return on investment that you're getting for the time you're putting into your business. Guys, it's a lot like building a race car. When you build a race car, what you're constantly doing is tuning it. The thing is, if I take that car to the salt flats and I run it, I'll tune it to get the best speed possible. But then if I take it to a desert where the temperature is significantly higher, guess what? Even though that was the perfect tune for the environment I was in, that tune in the engine doesn't work in the new environment I find myself in. Be aware of your environment. Be flexible enough to change your calendar. Always running through the filter, is this me being lazy and trying to avoid the things I don't want to do? Or is this me genuinely as a good CEO, business owner of my operation? Is this me modifying the tune on my operation to match the environment that we're in? Guys, my goal for all of these videos is to take and turn you into the best, fastest race car you could be by stripping away all the noise and the crap they tell you in this business to focus on the things that actually make you fast, make you successful, and make you win. Look at what you're doing. Own your calendar, own your time. Build a business you can be proud of that does what it sets out to do.